All right, okay. Hi guys, can you let me know if you can see me, see a screen and hear me as well? Yes. Yes, can't hear me. Okay, so okay, one more person's also there. But okay, just to let you all know a few things, right? So we'll have 30 minutes, right? Starting from 8:45, we'll go until 9:15. Okay, so you all can unmute yourself and ask your questions as well, or you can type it on the chat box. You can send it to me on WhatsApp if it's a picture or anything, right? I will copy and paste it into my whiteboard and I'll clarify the things. And please make sure that at the end of the day, your doubt is clarified, guys, right? Because if it's a doubt clearing session and you end up going with more doubts, then there is a problem. Okay, so I'm guessing you all can hear me and we're good to go. So you all can put in your questions, maybe on Zoom, send it to me on WhatsApp, unmute and ask. Anything is fine. So the first people, they sent me a few questions on Zoom. They've sent me a few on WhatsApp. So I explained the story of exchange rates, a part of exchange rates to them. So that was what I did at 8 to 8:30. So for you all, if you all have any questions, you all can go ahead. The time starts, it'll be wrapping things by around 9:50. Okay. Questions? No questions. Just came to look at me and go. At least that's good to know, though. How are you all doing? I'm hoping you all are doing great. Studying has been going good.
Sir, I have sent in WhatsApp.
Right, perfect. I'll check. Second. Okay. Copy and paste. Hold on, I will rotate this. Okay, foreign income terms of trade. Import potential of export goods and service effective function. Using of imports. Right. Okay, one thing I'm telling you, I don't think to this extent they will question you, but okay. You have the okay. Following other hypothesized information, you should start with this, right? Okay. Following other hypothesized information of foreign trades of an economy. Export earnings of good and service 20,000. Export price index 125, import price index 120, export volume index 150. Imported rice, millions of tons, rupees 15,000. Domestically produced rice 15,000. Value of the inputs of rice production 7,000. Amount of tariffs on imported rice 25. Amount of tariffs on imported fertilizer 10. Okay. Foreign income terms of trade. Import potential of exports, goods and services. Exported goods and services. Import potential. Okay, that is you can get the effective rate of protection with use of imports. Okay, so okay, first of all, I'll copy and paste the equation also rather than typing. Go to my first thing, 2021. I don't think a question of this nature would show up, but since I'll have it out, I will explain. Yes, so far they have not tested, and if they're testing, it will be a little bit of basic one. I don't think they'll go into this extent. Hold on. It's a nice question. Okay, they're testing two areas here. Okay. Okay. So to do this question, right now, the first part of it, they're asking you for the income terms of trade, right? So this here is the equation. It's there in my tute. Just check. It should be there in the fast track tute as well. Okay. This is your equation for your income terms of trade. So as long as you know your equation, it's simply a matter of, plugging in the numbers. So let's try plugging in the numbers here. Income terms of trade is what they're asking, your A component. They've given you your export price index. Export price index is given as how much? 125. Your import price index is given as 120, and they have given you your export volume index as 150. So you multiply this, you will get your foreign income terms of trade. So if you want, you can multiply it by 100 also to get a percentage. Guys, can you multiply and give? Okay, sorry, I'm not sharing the screen. Sorry. I think the screen is visible now. So this is your equation for income terms of trade. It's your export price index divided by your import price index into your export volume index. You can multiply this by 100 as well to get a percentage. Okay. So in that context, when we do this, right, how much do we get? We will get some sort of an answer. So that is your foreign income terms of trade. Yes, how much do we get as a number? Can you all do the maths for me? If someone has a calculator around you, 125 into 150 divided by 120. Number. Okay, it's in your phone or something, in your laptop. No? 156.25. Okay, 156.25. So that is your income terms of trade. Simple number there. So then, guys, what I'm guessing there's a small error in your B part. Right now, B part says the import potential of exported goods and services. So maybe they are referring to, it's not very clear as to what exactly they are referring to here, right? So maybe if they are referring to the, maybe if they are referring to the commodity terms of trade, I'll show you how to do that. I'm also not exactly sure what they are referring to. Maybe you can ask the person who made the paper, because this is not a term that they would use. Right? Okay, withdrawal waiver. Okay, so the import potential of exported goods and services. So you can measure the import. There are different ways of measuring. Now, even this income terms of trade is one way of measuring the import potential. So since in the A part they already asked for this, right? Here when they say import potential of exported goods and services, I will simply use the commodity terms of trade. Now, if you all look at this, guys, I will just share my a part of my tute, right? So if you look at it, guys, here, terms of trade measures this, right? The number of units that can be imported from a unit of good exported. And in commodity terms of trade, we say the number of units that can be imported from unit of good exported. So what is this? Your import potential. That means from one unit that you export, how much of goods you can import. So they're not clear. Now, even in the income terms of trade also, you used to measure the income potential of exports. So since the A component is already asking this, that is why I'm a little confused. Are they asking for this or are they asking for this? Right? Maybe you can show both. So we'll do the calculation through the commodity terms of trade, right? Because it's not very clear as to what exact thing they're asking you there. So then, if you look at your commodity terms of trade, okay, commodity terms of trade, that also measures this. So in your commodity terms of trade, what do? It's equal to your export price index divided by your import. They're asking you for import import price index. So export price index simply is 125. Your import price index is 120. So how much do we get there as a number, guys, as an answer? If you divide this by this, 125 divided by 120, you can multiply it by 100 also if you want to get as a percentage, but that's okay. How much do we get as an answer? Number? 125 divided by 120. Can't figure out. 25 divided by 1.04. 1.04. So what is this 1.04, guys? This 1.04 means from a unit of good exported, we can buy 1.04 units of imports. Now, for example, this is a hard number. Let me give it to you in very simple terms. Let's say, right, price of an export is 100 rupees. Okay. price of right, of is gone, right? Price of an import, right? Let's say is 50 rupees, right? Now let's forget about 125 and 120. So can you tell me based on these numbers, if I export one good from the money I am earning, how much of imports I can buy? If export is 100 rupees and import is 50, if I export one good, how much of imports can I buy in this context? Exactly, I can buy two, right? So that is what they're asking here, guys. That is your import potential of export goods. So from your exports, how much of imports you can buy? So my export is 100 rupees, my import is 50. So if I export one good, from the money I get, I can import two goods, right? So same story here, only they're giving different numbers, 125 and 120. So 1.04 doesn't make a little sense. So you can import 1.04. So if you want, at the bottom of this, you can say, guys, so from a unit of export, 1.04 units of imports could be purchased. Is that okay? Are we shape questions, issues? Are we okay, guys, with part A and B? That is A, that is B. Can we move on to C? Check. No? These questions, please ask. If you're okay, let me know that you're okay. Okay? Right. So then, guys, this one. Now, part C is a different story. This is the effective rate of protectionism. Okay? So, effective rate of protectionism, guys, I'm not very sure. Guys, do you all have some idea about this? Yes. That there is something called a value added. Yeah. Remember something like that? Okay. So then, okay. So in this case, guys, there is two simple stories, right? How do you get the effective rate of protectionism? You have to calculate something called the value added before and the value added after, right? Before the tariff and after the tariff. Now, first of all, let's forget that there is any tariff. Forget that there is any tariff. There is no tariff at all. So when there is no tariff at all, let's calculate the value added before the tariff. Yes, if you're lost anywhere, please stop me and ask. Okay, so how does this come? Right? So it's there in the note also, right? I don't know if you all do have this. Just check if any point. If you have any of my tudes somewhere around here, these examples is a very close example to what's there in your paper. Right? This should be there in my tube. This is my 2022 tube, but it's there in the 2021 tubes as well. Just check. I'm talking about a pair of shoes and inputs on it. Right? Just check that example, very similar to the one that is there here. Okay, that's the one. So first we'll get value added before tariff, guys. Now how do you get value added? To get value added, right? Remember in unit 5 also we study from the final value of the output, you minus what? Intermediate consumption, no? So any inputs that they used, you minus it. So in this case, before any tariff, right? The domestic good, the price of the domestic good was how much? It was 15,000. Yeah, the domestic good, domestic producer producing rice worth 15,000. To produce that rice worth of 15,000, they are using inputs. So let's say fertilizer, seeds, right? Different stuff worth 7,000. So how much is the value added, guys? Original value added, newly value created. How much is the value added? Their gross value of output is 15,000. Their intermediate consumption is a 7,000. If that is the case, how much can you say about their value added, guys? What is the newly value addition? It's 8,000, right? They're creating a newly value added of 8,000. Is that part okay? Before the tariff, see now so far no tariffs, huh? Nothing has happened, no tariffs. So now, guys, we'll look at the value added after. Now this is the confusing part. The value added before is a very easy calculation, guys, right? So value added before, simple calculation. Now, if you look at the value added after, right? When you now see here, it's a good question, right? Because there is tariffs on the rice and there is tariffs on the fertilizer also. Look very carefully, guys. Now, how much is the imported rice? That is also 15,000. Our local rice is also 15,000. Now, if a 25% tax is put on the imported rice, can you tell me what will be the price of the imported rice? Now, this is our local, we are calculating value of the local one. But can you tell me if there is a 25% tax put on this 15,000, how much will the value of imported rice be? Value of imported rice will be a 15,000 plus a 25% plus a 25% of 15,000, right? So in simple terms, 3,750. So it's going to be 18,000. So you can check my numbers are wrong. Please let me know. Guys, did you all understand that part? Now there is a tariff that is coming on the imported rice. So the imported rice is going to be 18,750. Make sense? Okay. So guys, now how does this work? How does this protectionism work, guys? The moment, right? Listen carefully. This is the most important part that many people confuse, right? The moment a tariff is put on the imported good, guys. Now our domestic fellow is not put tariffs yet, no, guys. He's the domestic guy. Import tariffs are put on the imported one. So our domestic fellow is selling at 15,000. The imported rice is now 18,750. So what does our domestic person do now, guys? He has the opportunity to do what? What do you think our domestic guy will do? He's selling at 15,000, but the subsidy that is coming from abroad is 18,750. So in this situation, guys, exactly, the domestic guy also increases his price because maybe the domestic guy's cost itself was 14,500. And maybe only 500 profit is selling at 15,000. But now given that there is a tariff put, is a good opportunity for him. So that is the protectionism coming in, guys, because with the 500 profit, it's very hard for him to survive. He might have to close down and go. But now since the tariff is put on the imported good, he can increase his price, meaning he gets some protection now. He can survive in the market. He can make a little bit more profit. So then what happens, guys? When you're calculating value added after, remember value added is always calculated for the domestic good. So calculating protectionism for the domestic good. Okay, so value added after the tariff. So how much should I put here, guys? What should I put here as a number? How much will the gross value of output be now? How much earlier it was 15,000. Now how much will the domestic person sell at? What is his gross value of output? Gross value of output number. How much? GVO. He will also sell at 18,750, right? Because now he can increase his price. So 18,750. He sells at 18,750. So then, guys, not just that. There is also, look at this. They are not only taxing the final product, they are also putting a tariff on the fertilizer. Now, look, our domestic fellow. Now, our domestic fellow is using some fertilizer. No, here they are saying our domestic person is using inputs, right? Inputs of the rice production, 7,000. So for this 7,000, let's say the 7,000 is fertilizer. For this 7,000 also, government is putting a 10% tariff. So if that is the case, guys, how much is his intermediate consumption? His new cost, new IC, new intermediate consumption is, it's 7,000 plus a 10% tariff, no? Government is charging. So 10% of 7,000. So how much is the total amount? 7,700. So then your intermediate consumption becomes how much, guys? Your IC becomes a 7,700. Okay, so 7,000. So if that is the case, guys, can you all do the maths and tell me how much is the value added after? So this is VA1 guys, value added after, value added before is V this one. Okay, so number guys 18,750 minus 7,700. 750 minus 700 is 50. Okay, 11,050. Okay, nice. So now you have got these numbers, and now it's a simple matter of putting it to the equation, guys. Remember, we would have studied an equation in the tutor. Guys, you'll understand this part. Yes, value added after. How the gross value of output changed because the final product was taxed. So our domestic fellow also can increase his price. So he is now selling at 18,750. Intermediate consumption was 7,000, but now they have put 10% tariff on the fertilizer. So 7,000 became 7,700. So as a result, this minus this is the value added after the tariff. This is before the tariff. Makes sense? All three of you all find that. So, okay, so I'll directly copy and paste the equation, right? This is our equation to get the value added, right? So this is there in your tip. So effective rate of protectionism is equal to value added after V1 guys is value added of the domestic producer after the tariff, V0 before the tariff, and you do the calculation. So simple terms, we get some numbers. So effective rate of protectionism is equal to value added after the tariff is 11,050, we calculated. Value added before 8,000, we calculated, right? Again, divide by value added before, that's another 8,000, and you multiply it by 100, you get your answer. Can you give me a number, guys? Your number should be a percentage. That's why you multiply by 100. How much do we get? Did you all mess this up in your school paper? It's a good question though, but I don't think to this extent they will test, but it's okay. Good luck. Guys, I'm waiting for a number. How much do we get as an answer? Equals 11,050 minus 8,000 divided by 8,000 into 100, 38.125. I know, I'm just going with your answers, guys. I never double checked. Okay, so that should be your final answer. Is that okay? Good question. But don't worry too much. I doubt because they have not tested any of these parts yet. So if they're not tested, and I don't think they will go to this extreme sort of a question. So they will go with a little bit more basic sort of one. So far is only tested in MCQs, not in part 2. But if they are testing, they might go with a basic one, not as this. But if you can do this, means better. Yeah. Okay, so that's your question there. Any other questions? We have around 7 more minutes. Wrap up. You all can come again at another time also, no problem. Any other questions? If you have sent me anything on WhatsApp also, let me know. Difference between a single bank and the banking system. Okay, so single bank is one bank, right? So it's a very basic story, right? Let's say I'll take it on this side. Okay, the difference between a single bank and the banking system. Now let's say if you take Sri Lanka, right? So if you take Sri Lanka, you have these guys. So you have commercial bank, right? So commercial bank also has a few branches, right? Let's say commercial bank has branches. Let's say they have 3 branches. Then you have let's say what, People's Bank, right? So People's Bank also has, let's say, 2 branches. Okay, and then you might have let's say Bank of Ceylon, right? So let's say they have right now 4 branches, right? So all these together, right? All these banks together is called the banking system. This whole thing, right? So in my example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All these 9 banks together is called the banking system. So let's assume that only these banks are there. I don't talk about say then where is HSBC. So one of this bank, this one is called a single bank, right? So this is a loan guy. Everyone together is a banking system. Sure. You think that's okay? Any other questions?
So
Yes.
you need for the curves,
Mm-hmm.
cost curve and the product. Can you explain that?
Which curve? Short run?
Yeah, short run.
The
Because
marginal cost, those ones. Okay, let me
yeah, mirror
show.
images.
All right. Okay. Give me a second. Let me try to get it from my tip. 2022. Okay. A second. Let me try to find. Okay, so I'll just copy and paste a part of my tute here, and then I'll explain the story. Okay, the mirror image story. Okay, so I'm just copying and pasting a part of my tute. This is from the 2022, but you will also have something similar to this in your tables. Okay, so this is a very highly tested MCQ area, right? So these two, first remember the curves that mirror each other. If you forget the curves that mirror each other, then also there is a problem. So these are the curves that mirror. Okay, you have the marginal product and the average product, marginal product, right? And the marginal cost, right? Those two curves mirror each other. Mirror each other means if one is going up, the other one is going down, right? Now, if you look at a mirror also, right? I don't know how to explain this, right? You can feel it, right? You see the words the other side, no? Yeah, that is why you call it mirror images. So if I talk about this marginal product, look carefully, right? Now, these are, how they test in MCQs, right? In a MCQ, they will say the marginal product curve is increasing, or they will give you numbers saying marginal product is 10, 20, 30. So they're saying marginal product is increasing. The answers will talk about the marginal cost. Now you will see, so question is talking about marginal product, but answer they're saying marginal cost. That is why that mirror part is important. So for example, if the marginal product, let's say they've given you numbers, marginal product at 1 unit is 10, at 2 units is 20, 3 units is 40. So you can see, okay, it's increased. So meaning you realize, that means marginal cost is a mirror image, marginal cost should be decreased. So that is how they test in MCQs there. Okay. So then if this marginal product curve is increasing here, going up, your marginal cost, let me make it a little thing. All right. So if this is increasing, right, the marginal cost curve is decreasing. So when this is at its highest point, this curve is at its lowest point. So then when marginal product starts to fall, MC starts to increase. And then marginal product will cut average product at the topmost point. When AP is at its maximum only, marginal product cuts AP. Okay, MP cuts AP at its maximum. Same thing the opposite there. Marginal cost will cut, remember, it's marginal product and marginal cost. Average product, not average cost, it's average variable cost, right? Sometimes they will give average cost, but the most correct one is average variable cost, not average cost. Okay, so then this will cut the average variable cost at the bottommost point. Then same story with these also, average product and average variable cost. These two also mirror each other. So when this is increasing, right? So when this one is going up, then what happens? This goes down. When this starts to go down, this starts to increase. And then you know, then the other part, I guess, that's not the mirror image really. When this hits zero, right, you have your total production, right? So your total product is at its maximum. TP is at its maximum when marginal product hits zero. So small things like that are very highly tested MCQs. So you can, if you want, you can just get a screenshot of this. I have explained this story. This is from the top itself. Just get a screenshot of it. It should be there in your tute also, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, shape, fine. Issues, problems. Okay. So then that's basically it. I think we are running out of time also. Do you have any other questions that you have planned to ask? Can we wrap things and maybe come along another day? I'll clarify all of that. I don't want to keep it too long also because then you can't focus. Right? Put it for 2 hours. You all will be dozing off in the middle. Except, so small things. We looked at that question. We looked at this, and a simple single bank and this story. Okay, if that is that, then I'll see you all again. So I'll put a few new slots on
Yes, sir.
Friday, right? On tomorrow evening, I'll put some new slots. Okay, so then if you all have any other questions, you can get together and come. So thank you again. Welcome. And keep studying. So far, so good. I don't see a problem. Just stick to your past papers, guys. As I'm telling you, your past papers, fast track mock exam papers are way more than enough, right? Inside your past papers itself, around 75-80% questions are already there. The other 20% and all you will find in the mock exams and everything there. So as long as you can even stick to your past papers and those, you can definitely get that A. So don't try to learn new things now, right? Because you only have little days to go. If you don't know some areas, leave it, because you don't need 200 out of 200 to get an A. You only need 150. You have a choice. You can leave things that you don't like, right? MCQs, you might even end up putting a kana. I'm not a person who knew everything. I'll tell you very honestly, I also did not know certain parts, right? I completely left those and went, right? I still got more than 93 now. So use your brains. Don't waste this time trying to study new things, because a new thing you might waste one entire day studying a small part, right? So instead of that, that entire day you could use to, practice something that you already know and brush it up and make it very well. Because a new thing, sometimes you might study, you might not even get it. Whole day wasted. You feel bad also at the end of the day. Still, this did not go into my head. You feel demotivated there. So don't waste time studying new things. Leave it. That's okay. It's very hard to leave it, right? Because you feel, what if this comes, right? What is going to happen, right? What if this comes? How do I do? But learn to let it go. Don't have too much of ego and too much of, let's say, things saying that, no, I have to learn this. No, be smart, right? Leave things around. And I know boys, right, we are not like girls, right? Girls might really want to get everything done, but you play smart, right? We are not the people who study as much as them, but you study smart, you can score as much as them. So leave it. You should be perfectly good to go. So don't be demotivated. Handle the other 2 subjects also. Maybe you can take a break from accounts after, let's say, 4 or 5 days, because there is a break anyway. Focus on econ BS and should be good to go. And the first paper is usually the day people panic, right? Because the first exam, econ paper 1, and people make a lot of careless mistakes. I've seen that with my friends also. Very smart people. Econ is B, others all A. Why? First day the fellow panicked, right? So make sure that doesn't happen. Chill. So I've got this. Things are there in the past papers, nothing much to worry. Just do what you're doing. That's all that I have to say. What will I do after my degree? Probably start working somewhere. Maybe I might stop classes. Maybe I will continue classes. I don't know, but yeah, we'll see. That's it. I'll see you all some other day. I have another session to do as well. I'm ready. Okay. So see you. Bye bye. Welcome. Bye.